Did you know that a single no vote from a small West African nation changed the course of African history? This is the story of Ahmed Sékou Touré, the first president of Guinea, a man who dared to defy France, became a symbol of African liberation, and ultimately, a controversial figure whose legacy is still debated today. Ahmed Sékou Touré was born on January 9, 1922, in Forana, a small town in what was then French Guinea. His family was of modest means, but they had a proud heritage, claiming descent from the legendary Ahmed Sékou Touré, a West African resistance leader who fought against French colonial rule in the late 19th century. This connection to a figure of anti-colonial resistance would profoundly shape Sékou Touré's own political trajectory. Young Sékou received his early education in French colonial schools. However, he was expelled for participating in a student protest against the discriminatory practices of the colonial administration. This early act of defiance foreshadowed his later confrontations with French power. Unable to continue his formal education, Touré took various jobs, eventually finding work at the postal service. It was here that he became involved in the burgeoning labor movement, joining the Postal Workers' Union. This marked the beginning of his career as a trade unionist, a path that would lead him to the forefront of the Guinean nationalist movement. Touré quickly rose through the ranks of the labor movement, becoming a prominent figure in the General Confederation of African Labour, or CGTA. He was a charismatic and effective organizer, advocating for the rights of African workers and challenging the exploitative practices of the colonial system. His activism brought him into contact with other emerging nationalist leaders across French West Africa. By the 1950s, Touré had become a leading voice for Guinean independence. He founded the Democratic Party of Guinea, or PDG, a political party that quickly gained mass support, particularly among workers and farmers. Touré's message of self-determination and African dignity resonated deeply with the Guinean people. The turning point came in 1958. French President Charles de Gaulle proposed a new French community, offering limited autonomy to France's African colonies. The colonies were given a choice: join the French community or opt for immediate independence. Touré, without hesitation, chose independence. In a historic referendum on September 28, 1958, Guinea, under Touré's leadership, voted overwhelmingly to reject the French community. Guinea became the only French colony in sub-Saharan Africa to choose immediate independence, a decision that sent shockwaves across the continent and the world. On October 2, 1958, Guinea officially declared its independence, with Ahmed Sékou Touré as its first president. The break with France, however, was not without its consequences. France, angered by Guinea's defiance, withdrew all its personnel, equipment, and resources from the country, leaving Guinea with a collapsed administration and a devastated economy. This was meant to be a warning to other colonies considering independence. Despite these challenges, Touré remained steadfast in his commitment to self-determination. He sought support from other African nations, as well as the Soviet Union and other countries in the Eastern Bloc. He became a vocal advocate for Pan-Africanism, the idea of a united and independent Africa. Touré welcomed and supported liberation movements from across the continent, providing them with training, resources, and a platform to advocate for their cause. He was admired by leaders like Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana and Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt, who shared his vision of a unified and independent Africa. As president, Touré implemented a socialist economic model, nationalizing key industries and implementing central planning. His goal was to achieve economic self-reliance and reduce Guinea's dependence on foreign powers. However, these policies were not always successful, and Guinea's economy struggled under his rule. Over time, Touré's government became increasingly authoritarian. He consolidated power, suppressed opposition, and created a one-party state. The PDG became the sole legal political party, and dissent was not tolerated. One of the darkest aspects of Touré's rule was the establishment of Camp Boiro, a notorious prison camp in Conakry. Thousands of political opponents, intellectuals, and perceived enemies of the state were imprisoned, tortured, and killed at Camp Boiro. The prison became a symbol of state terror and a source of immense suffering for the Guinean people. The exact number of victims who perished at Camp Boiro remains unknown, but it is estimated to be in the thousands. Touré's regime also faced several coup attempts, which further fueled his paranoia and led to increased repression. He accused his political opponents of being agents of foreign powers and used these accusations to justify his authoritarian rule. Despite his increasingly authoritarian tendencies, Touré remained a respected figure on the international stage. He continued to advocate for Pan-Africanism and to criticize Western imperialism. He also played a role in mediating regional conflict and promoting peace in Africa. In March 1984, Ahmed Sékou Touré fell ill and was flown to the United States for medical treatment. He died in Cleveland, Ohio, on March 26, 1984, at the age of 62. His death marked the end of an era in Guinean history. Just days after his death, a military coup led by Lansana Conté overthrew Touré's government, bringing an end to 26 years of one-party rule. The new government released political prisoners from Camp Boiro and began to dismantle the structures of the authoritarian state. Ahmed Sékou Touré's legacy remains complex and contested. He is remembered as a hero of African liberation, a champion of Pan-Africanism, and a symbol of defiance against colonialism. However, he is also remembered as an authoritarian ruler who suppressed dissent, violated human rights, and presided over a brutal regime. In Guinea today, his memory is still a subject of debate. Some view him as the father of the nation, while others remember the years of fear and repression under his rule. His legacy serves as a reminder of the challenges and contradictions of post-colonial Africa, where liberation struggles often gave way to authoritarian rule. Touré stands as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of upholding human rights and democratic values, even in the pursuit of national liberation. His story continues to resonate today, as Africa grapples with the legacy of colonialism and the challenges of building stable and democratic societies. His defiance of France is often cited in debates about French influence in West Africa and the ongoing struggle for economic independence. The question remains, was Ahmed Sékou Touré a liberator or a dictator? Perhaps, he was both.